God's chosen ones, are you ready for the truth God is revealing tonight? Chosen one, tonight is not like any other night. The message you are about to hear is a divine revelation, a truth that has been set apart just for you. If you're reading these words right now, let me be clear, this is no coincidence. This is not luck. This is a summons from heaven itself. For days, God has been trying to reach you, but tonight, heaven made sure the message found you. What you're about to receive is not just another word. It's a powerful, urgent call from the Spirit of God. His words are simple, yet they burn with an intensity you can't ignore. I know your heart, and I need you to hear this before tomorrow morning. You've been praying, haven't you? Asking questions in the quiet of your soul, seeking answers no one seems to provide. It may have felt like heaven was silent, but trust me, it wasn't. God has been watching your inner battles, the weight you carry, and the questions you keep hidden. He's seen the moments when you almost gave up, but you didn't. The tears you've never spoken of, the effort no one thanked you for. And tonight, he says, I see it all. This isn't a correction, it's a connection. God isn't here to condemn you, he's here to comfort you. He knows your heart, your intentions, and your struggle to keep the faith alive. Even when your strength runs thin, even when your soul feels exhausted from the weight, he sees you. But here's the good news. Before the sun rises tomorrow, something is going to shift. Heaven has scheduled a visitation, peace, clarity, and divine confirmation that will remind you that you are not forgotten and you are not alone. So, chosen one, if your spirit is stirred by this, act on it now. Hit that like button as a sign of agreement. Subscribe so you don't miss what heaven is about to release next. Drop your city or nation in the comments below, because we want to see where the remnant is rising around the world. And to those who have supported us through super thanks, thank you. You are not just a giver, you are a co-laborer in this divine mission. May your seed rise as incense before God, unlocking the prayers you've been weeping over. Stay close, chosen one. The shift is coming, and it begins tonight. Are you ready for what God is revealing to you? God's chosen ones, are you ready for the truth God is revealing tonight? Don't scroll away. What God is about to reveal in the next few moments could very well rewrite the peace you wake up with tomorrow morning. You've been carrying burdens, crying through sleepless nights, asking questions that felt like they would never be answered. But now, it's time for you to hear what God has been waiting to tell you. You see, God's chosen ones, this isn't just a coincidence that you found yourself here today. There's a reason, a divine calling that led you to this moment. Deep within, you've always known that you're different. Perhaps you've felt it all along, a quiet disconnect from the world around you. Have you ever wondered why? There are moments in life when no one seems to understand what you're carrying. They see your actions, but they don't understand your intentions. They hear your words, but they can't fathom the wounds that they cannot see. But God knows. He's not like the people around you. Where they only see what's on the surface, God looks deep within. He sees the heart, your heart, dear chosen one. In 1 Samuel 16-7, when God rejected Saul and chose David, he said to Samuel, "Man looks at the outward appearance, but the Lord looks at the heart." This scripture wasn't just about David, it was about you. God has been watching what others overlook, guarding what others couldn't see. You may have been judged, misunderstood, and even doubted by those who couldn't comprehend the fire inside you. They saw you fall, but they didn't witness the strength it took for you to rise again. They saw your weakness, but they didn't understand the spiritual warfare you were enduring. They saw your calm demeanor, but not the chaos you conquered to find peace. They saw your silence, but not the surrender you gave to God in that stillness. You faced storms that threatened to drown you, but through it all, you remained steadfast. Heaven has been whispering over your life, chosen one. Can you hear it? I know what others don't see. I saw you when you chose forgiveness over bitterness, when you continued believing in God's promises, even when they seemed far away. I saw when you worshipped Him through pain, when you endured what most would call impossible. God sees you, the real you, the one who carries a divine gift, a supernatural awareness that most people won't ever understand. This isn't just intuition. This is the sacred discernment God has placed within you. The same way King David knew God's voice and obeyed it, you too are attuned to the divine whispers that guide your every step. There are people in this world who never experience the depth of this awareness, but you, God's chosen ones, are different. Just as the artist Michelangelo once said, "I saw the angel in the marble and carved until I set him free." You, too, are like that marble shaped by God's hand, revealing the angel within. The world may not understand your journey, but it doesn't need to. You were not made to conform to the standards of this world, but to the divine purpose that God has placed in your heart. There's a passage in the book of Isaiah, chapter 55, verse 8, where God says, "For my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways." This is not just about your relationship with God, but about how your life's purpose transcends earthly understanding. There will be moments when people try to push you into their mold, but the more you fight against it, the more you align with your true calling. You are set apart, chosen for something beyond comprehension, beyond what the world can offer. You are meant for greatness. The question is, chosen one, are you ready to embrace it? In the stillness of your heart, there's a quiet knowing that you are called to walk a path that may not always make sense to others, but it is your path, your divine journey, and no one can walk it like you can. Be still and know that I am God. This verse from Psalm 46:10 reminds us that even in the midst of chaos, God is with us, guiding our steps. Just as the great composer Beethoven wrote his Symphony No. 9 inches the darkest of times, finding beauty and harmony through his struggles, you too will find purpose through the trials and tribulations you face. The truth that God is revealing tonight is not for the faint of heart, chosen ones. It is for those who are ready to embrace their divine calling, to rise above the limitations that others place on them, and to stand firm in the power of God's truth. God has already equipped you with everything you need to walk this journey. The gifts, the discernment, the strength, they are all within you. All you have to do is step forward and embrace them. As you reflect on this message, ask yourself, what is God revealing to you right now? What has He been whispering to your heart that you've been too afraid to acknowledge? Don't wait for the world to catch up with your divine purpose. It's time for you to rise, to be bold in your calling, and to walk the path that only you were meant to walk. The truth has been revealed to you, chosen one. Now the choice is yours. In conclusion, stand firm, stand tall, and rise up to the truth that God has placed within you. Embrace your divine purpose, for you are His chosen one. Share your story, share your truth, and let the world see the divine power you carry. Every tear you've shed, every thought that's crossed your mind, and every hidden effort you've put in, God has recorded them all. He sees what others overlook, understands what they misunderstand, and hears what they cannot grasp. While people might judge the story of your life based on its cover, heaven reads the chapters they can't see. This divine perception is not limited to the surface. It transcends the superficial to the heart of your journey. God's chosen ones, you've been carrying burdens that no one else could ever fully understand. Every silent prayer, every moment of deep longing, and every expression of faith amidst your struggles has not gone unnoticed. The world may see the struggles, but heaven sees the resilience. Your prayers have echoed louder than the pain that sought to silence you. Your faith, when everything seems lost, has spoken louder than your failures. Nothing you've done in love has gone unnoticed. Just as a tree in the forest grows in quiet solitude, its roots growing deep into the earth unseen, so too have your efforts been nourished by God's unseen hand. The unseen work you've done, whether it was in moments of prayer, sacrifice, or perseverance, is being recorded by the Lord of the heavens. You have been seen, valued, and most importantly, remembered by God. And now, because God knows the depths of your heart, He is about to honor you in ways you couldn't imagine. Every tear you've shed in private, every heartache you've carried, every misunderstood moment will turn into divine validation. Just as gold must be refined by fire to shine, your journey has shaped you for the honor God is now preparing to give you. The time of judgment from others will fade, and the elevation you've longed for will begin to manifest. Every accusation that was meant to break you will be used by God to elevate you. Every hidden prayer, whispered in your quiet moments, will transform into a testimony seen by the world. Remember the story of David, God's chosen king, who was rejected by many and overlooked by even his own family. When Samuel was sent to anoint the next king of Israel, he was drawn to the outward appearance of David's brothers. Yet God said in 1 Samuel 16:7, "Man looks at the outward appearance, but the Lord looks at the heart." God knew what others did not. He saw David's heart in the fields, while others saw only a shepherd. Now, God is seeing you, right where you are. No one may fully understand your heart, but God does, and He's about to reward it. Perhaps you felt as though you've been in a season of silence, where heaven seemed quiet and the weight of life felt unbearable. But what you thought was silence was actually divine strategy. The quiet moments were God's way of training your heart in secret. While the world was too busy judging or ignoring, God was shaping your spirit. Just as a seed grows underground, unseen by the world, but destined to break through the earth and grow into a mighty tree, so too has God been strengthening you in hidden places. His silence was not abandonment, it was His instruction. He was working in your waiting, teaching you lessons that would one day bear fruit for His kingdom. Consider the story of Joseph, the young dreamer who was betrayed by his brothers, sold into slavery, and cast into prison. To the world, it seemed as though his life was spiraling into darkness. Yet, in every painful moment, God was forming the character of a ruler within him. Every betrayal, every delay, every lonely night was a divine setup for his destiny. It wasn't a random sequence of events, it was God's plan unfolding. And when the time was right, Joseph stood before Pharaoh, second in command over all of Egypt. What the enemy intended for harm, God used for good. Heaven never wastes heartbreak, it harvests it. It refines it. Your pain, chosen one, will not go to waste. It will be the soil from which God brings forth your greatest victories. Is this the season you've been in? Perhaps you feel as though your prayers have been unanswered or that you've been forgotten. But know this, God's silence is often His strategy. He's been molding you, preparing you for something far greater than you could ever dream of. Have you ever thought about how a caterpillar, in its quiet cocoon, undergoes a transformation before emerging as a butterfly? That process, though unseen and uncomfortable, ultimately leads to a beautiful new creation. So too, your current situation is not the end, it's the beginning of something extraordinary. God is using everything you've endured to shape you for your destiny. The hidden tears, the unspoken sacrifices, the silent worship through your pain, these are the things that will turn into your divine testimony. You may feel like you've been standing still, but heaven knows that you've been growing stronger. For I know the plans I have for you, says the Lord in Jeremiah 29:11, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you a hope and a future. Every setback, every trial, is just another step towards the future God has already ordained for you. The time of your elevation is near, chosen one. You have been prepared for such a time as this, and the world will soon see what God has been working on in the secret places of your heart. Rise up, for your time is coming. Let your heart echo the divine calling that has always been with you. Share your story, share your lessons, and stand firm in the truth that God sees you, knows you, and is preparing to honor you in ways you've never imagined. Rise up, chosen one, for your time of manifestation is at hand. The world is about to see the truth of who you are. What you thought was loss was actually God's way of preparing you for greatness. What seemed like defeat, what appeared to be setbacks, were actually moments of divine training, molding you into the leader you were always meant to become. Just like Joseph, before he could wear the robe of authority, he had to endure the chains of humility. Before he could rule, he had to serve. And just as God's plan for Joseph unfolded behind the scenes, so too is your destiny being written, even in the moments when you felt isolated, discouraged, or confused. God's chosen ones, do you realize that the very experiences you deemed as failures were the foundation of your strength? The loneliness you felt, the times when you stood alone in your faith, watching others succeed while you were still waiting, was not a punishment. It was part of God's divine design. The disappointment you experienced was not a sign of rejection, it was a lesson in trust. The confusion that clouded your path was not meant to derail you, but to guide you to a deeper understanding of God's purpose. Have you ever considered that your pain, which once seemed unbearable, might actually be the very thing that will elevate you? The tears you shed yesterday are now the strength that empowers you today. The trials you thought would break, you have instead been refining your character, your resolve, and your purpose. You've been in the training ground, God's secret workshop, where He's been building spiritual muscles in you that comfort and ease could never have nurtured. Just as an athlete must push through intense physical strain to reach peak performance, God has been allowing you to experience moments of hardship to prepare you for a higher calling. Each tear, each moment of confusion, each sleepless night was not in vain. It was part of your spiritual conditioning. Have you recognized the strength you've gained through these trials? The very pain that seemed unbearable in the moment is now the strength that holds you steady. The wounds of yesterday are becoming the weapons of today. Romans 8:28 tells us, "And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love Him, who have been called according to His purpose." This verse is not just a promise, it is a divine declaration that everything you've gone through, everything you've experienced, will be used for a higher purpose. What you didn't understand then, what seemed senseless, is now being orchestrated behind the curtains of eternity to bring you into your divine destiny. The pain that you thought would defeat you is being transformed into purpose. The waiting that felt like wasted time is being turned into wisdom that will guide you to your breakthrough. God has been at work in the unseen, choreographing your every step, aligning your heart with His divine timing. Every moment of pain has been turned into a lesson. Every rejection has built your resilience. Heaven has been shaping your life with divine precision, much like an architect carefully designs a masterpiece. The blueprint may not always make sense in the early stages, but every line drawn, every corner shaped, is part of creating a structure that will stand the test of time. Have you ever thought about how an artist sketches out the first rough lines before adding color and detail? What appears to be chaotic and incomplete in the early stages is later revealed as a breathtaking work of art. So too is God's work in you. What you see as a mess, God is shaping into a magnificent story of redemption, strength, and purpose. In nature, a tree must endure the harshest winds before its roots grow deep enough to support its branches. The storms that once threatened to uproot you have instead strengthened your foundation. You are like that tree, God's chosen one, being shaped through the storm to grow tall and strong. Have you ever watched how a storm passes and, once it's gone, the trees stand stronger than before? This is the divine strengthening that is happening in your life right now. Every gust of wind, every storm, is not a setback. It is part of God's plan to build you into a mighty force that will withstand whatever comes next. Consider the story of Thomas Edison, a man who failed over 1,000 times before inventing the light bulb. When asked how he felt about his failures, he responded, "I have not failed. I've just found 1,000 ways that won't work." Edison's perseverance in the face of failure is an example of how, through each setback, he found the strength to continue, eventually leading to groundbreaking success. This same resilience, this same mindset, is what God is building in you, chosen one. Each struggle, each failure, is leading you to your breakthrough. You are being prepared for the moment when the world will see your light shine brighter than ever before. God has been using every single moment of your life to shape you for His glory. The pain, the confusion, the moments you didn't understand, all of it has been a part of His perfect design. Heaven has been working behind the scenes, orchestrating your every step, refining you like precious gold. And now, the time has come for you to step into your calling. The robe of authority is being placed on you, the same robe Joseph wore after his time of trial. It's your time, chosen one, to rise, to lead, to shine. So, rise, God's chosen ones, for your time has come. The strength you've gained through your struggles is now your weapon for victory. The world is about to see what God has been shaping in you all along. Stand tall, for you were born for greatness. The silent season you've been through wasn't punishment, it was divine preparation. You felt isolated, alone, wondering why you had to endure such a time of stillness. But let me reveal to you, chosen one, that this period was never about your defeat. It was about transformation. You were hidden not because you were forgotten, but because God was shaping you in the secret places. Think of a seed buried in the soil, unseen by the world, but growing deep roots, preparing for the moment it would break through the earth. During your time of silence, God was not abandoning you. He was incubating greatness within you. You may have felt like you were in the dark, forgotten by others, but the truth is, you were being made holy. Just as a diamond is formed under immense pressure, your character, your purpose, and your destiny are being refined in the fire of God's love. Heaven was not ignoring you, it was preparing you. Each moment you spent in isolation was not wasted, it was part of a grand design to mold you into the leader you were meant to be. This is why your season of silence was never a season of failure. It was a time of divine incubation, where God was quietly shaping you to rise in power, to stand in strength, and to walk in His glory. He who began a good work in you will carry it on to completion until the day of Christ Jesus. Philippians 1-6. Now, as the refining process nears completion, the revealing of God's work in your life is drawing near. The strength He has built in you during the hidden season will soon be made visible. Just as gold is refined in the fire to shine with brilliance, your inner light, tested by the fire, is now ready to shine forth. You've been through the storm, you've weathered the trials, and now it's time for you to be revealed. The same fire that tested you will now be the very thing that announces your arrival to the world. For when He has tested me, I shall come forth as gold. Job 23:10. Have you ever wondered why your prayers felt unanswered, as though they were hitting the ceiling? Have you asked, God, do you still hear me? There's a deep yearning inside you that cries out, longing for God's response. And though you might feel like your prayers are fading into the air, hear this. Heaven's response is not just a hearing, but a feeling. Romans 8:26 says, "The Spirit Himself intercedes for us with groanings too deep for words." This means that your silence, your groans, your inner cries, all have meaning in heaven. Even when words cannot express the pain, the longing, or the desire within you, God hears. Your tears are not wasted. They are being gathered, used by God for a higher purpose. You are not alone in this journey. The Bible assures us that the Spirit intercedes for us, even when we cannot form the words ourselves. This is a reminder that God's divine awareness of your struggles is far deeper than you may realize. Your silent cries are like the quiet hum of a symphony unseen, but heard by the composer. You may not understand it now, but your hidden season has been crucial in the development of your divine purpose. Heaven has been listening to you more than you could imagine, and now the time for your revelation is coming. In life, we often see only the surface, but God sees deeper. Think of an artist shaping a masterpiece, chiseling away at the stone until the form is revealed. The artist knows exactly what the final creation will look like, even when the process seems slow and hidden. Your life is a masterpiece in the making, God's creation that has been molded in His perfect timing. You were hidden because you were being shaped for something extraordinary. Have you ever watched a butterfly emerge from its cocoon? It begins in a place of complete darkness, only to break through into the light, emerging transformed. This is exactly what God has been doing to you. You were once hidden, isolated, and shaped in secret. But now, chosen one, you are ready to break free and emerge into the light that has been prepared for you. The world will soon see what God has been doing behind the scenes. The refining process is not for the faint of heart. It's for those who are called to carry the weight of divine purpose. You have been prepared to bear the mantle of greatness. Just like the artist's brushstroke that appears inconsequential until it forms the final picture, your quiet moments of growth, your hidden battles, are now about to be seen. The strength you've gained in your isolation will now be on display for the world to see. This is not the end of your journey, chosen one. It's the beginning of something far greater. You have been built for this moment. The fire, the pressure, the isolation, they were all part of your preparation. And now that the refining is complete, you are ready to be revealed. God is about to take what He shaped in secret and display it in strength. Your time to shine has arrived. As you reflect on your own journey, ask yourself, what have you learned in the silence? What has God been preparing you for in the hidden places of your life? The answer to these questions lies in the truth of who you are becoming. You are not the same as before. The refining process has made you stronger, wiser, and ready to fulfill your divine purpose. The world is about to see the masterpiece that God has been working on. Stand tall, God's chosen ones, for the time of your revelation is near. Rise up in strength, for God is about to display His glory through your life. The struggles, the pain, the unspoken prayers, every one of these whispers has been heard. They are not just mere thoughts or passing emotions, they are sacred language. These cries, these silent moments of anguish, speak on your behalf when words can't. When you've felt overwhelmed by your circumstances, when you've been on your knees, unable to articulate the depth of your feelings, heaven hears. Every whisper of pain, every silent thought, every hidden fear has already reached the throne of grace. God's chosen ones. Have you ever felt like your prayers were falling on deaf ears? Have you asked, why is my answer delayed? There's a deep part of you that longs for God's response, and the silence can often feel deafening. Yet, I want to remind you today that delay does not mean denied. Just as a seed takes time to grow beneath the surface before it breaks through the earth, your prayers are being cultivated in the soil of God's perfect timing. The moment you spoke your heart to God, He heard you. But just as a plant needs time to reach its full bloom, so too does your answered prayer need time to manifest in its fullness. Remember the story of Daniel. In Daniel 10:12, when he prayed and fasted for understanding, the angel told him, "Do not be afraid, Daniel. Since the first day that you set your mind to gain understanding and to humble yourself before your God, your words were heard, and I have come in response to them." God's answer was already in motion, even though it seemed delayed. The moment Daniel's prayer left his lips, heaven was already at work on his behalf. The unseen forces, the spiritual realm, were aligning to bring the answer at the right time. God's silence, chosen one, is not an indication of His absence. It's His strategy, working behind the scenes, to bring about something far greater than you can imagine. In nature, think of the way a butterfly transforms. The caterpillar, seemingly trapped in its cocoon, may seem to the outside world like it's stuck. But in that cocoon, a beautiful metamorphosis is taking place, unseen, in the quiet, hidden spaces. Similarly, when God is silent, He is often at work in the unseen places of your life, preparing something extraordinary. You may not see the progress in the moment, but trust that the work is being done. Just like the caterpillar becomes a butterfly, your time of waiting is nurturing you into something far more glorious than you could imagine. God is working on the inside, refining you, preparing you, aligning your heart with His divine will. You might be wondering, how much longer, God? It's a question that resonates deeply in the hearts of many. Think of a forest fire. Though it seems destructive, it is often the fire that clears away the deadwood, allowing new growth to emerge. This is what God does in the silence. He allows the fires of your trials to burn away what is no longer needed, leaving room for new growth, new purpose, and new life to spring forth. The fire refines, purifies, and prepares. Without it, the forest cannot grow to its full potential. Similarly, without the refining moments in your life, without the challenges, you wouldn't be prepared for the magnitude of blessings God is about to release. Remember the story of Moses. When God called him to lead the Israelites out of Egypt, Moses had been in the desert for 40 years, in a place of isolation. The silence must have been deafening for Moses, yet, in that time, God was preparing him for the mission that would change history. God used that silence, that waiting period, to refine Moses, to shape him, and to prepare him to fulfill his purpose. What seemed like a delay, a time of solitude, was actually a divine setup for the unfolding of a miracle. Just like Moses, you may have been in your desert season for longer than you expected. But remember, the desert isn't a place of abandonment, it's a place of preparation. God is not silent because He's distant, but because He is preparing something greater than you could ever imagine. His silence is His strategy, His working behind the scenes to align everything in your favor. What may seem like a delay is God's perfect timing unfolding. Let's also reflect on a more modern example. The famous inventor Thomas Edison, after countless failed attempts at creating the light bulb, once remarked, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." Edison's patience and perseverance in the face of seeming failure are a testament to how waiting, even in the midst of silence, can lead to a breakthrough. God's timing works similarly. Just like Edison's process, though it may seem like there is no progress, the moment will come when everything aligns and the light will shine. So, God's chosen ones, let me remind you, delay does not mean denied. Your silent season is a divine opportunity for growth, for transformation, and for the shaping of a destiny that will leave a lasting mark on the world. God has been listening to every prayer, hearing every cry, and now His answer is on its way. Trust in His timing, trust in His strategy. Your breakthrough is coming. Now, reflect on this. What has God been preparing in your heart during this waiting period? How has He been molding you, even in the silence? Don't let the silence of God confuse you. Let it empower you. This is your time of preparation, your season of becoming, and soon the world will see what God has been shaping in you all along. Stand firm, God's chosen ones, for your season of revealing is upon you. Rise up, for the silent work God has been doing in you is about to burst forth in power and glory. There are moments in your journey when you may feel like nothing is happening. You've prayed, you've waited, and still the answers don't seem to come. You might even begin to question whether God is at work at all. But let me remind you, chosen ones, that when it feels like God is doing nothing, He is, in fact, aligning everything for your greater good. The silence you feel is not the absence of God. It's the holy construction zone of heaven, a place where unseen things are being prepared. Just like an architect meticulously designs every detail of a building before the structure rises, God is building something for you behind the curtain of time, even when you can't yet see it. You may not feel His presence, but rest assured, He is closer than your very breath. In the quiet, when you feel like you're standing still, God is working in ways beyond your understanding. He is protecting you from doors you're not ready to open, saving you from blessings that could have overwhelmed you, and orchestrating connections that you don't even know you'll need yet. Just as a skilled musician practices in silence before the grand performance, God is tuning the strings of your life, making sure everything is in harmony before He reveals His perfect timing. The silence you experience is not the absence of God, it's His strategic pause, preparing you for something far greater than you can imagine. The Bible tells us in Psalm 139:2, "You know when I sit and when I rise, you perceive my thoughts from afar." God understands your heart, chosen one. He knows your thoughts before you speak them, and He perceives your struggles even when you can't find the words. Have you ever felt like your prayers weren't enough? Like the words you spoke didn't carry the weight of the burden on your heart? God doesn't just hear your words. He understands your unspoken thoughts, your deepest desires, and the motives behind your prayers. The silence isn't rejection, it's refinement. In the field of psychology, there's a concept called cognitive dissonance, where our minds struggle to reconcile two conflicting thoughts or beliefs. In the same way, sometimes our souls experience a tension between the visible silence and the invisible work God is doing. Yet, much like how the dissonance in the mind leads to growth when resolved, the tension of silence leads to a powerful breakthrough when we trust that God is still at work. The unseen is just as real as the seen, and in those moments when you don't feel God's presence, He is refining you. God is building something eternal, something unshakable in your life. The silent waiting is not wasted. It is an essential part of His divine plan. This process of divine construction is also illustrated in nature. Consider the growth of a tree. Beneath the surface, its roots are expanding, reaching deeper into the soil. You can't see this growth, but it's critical for the tree to withstand storms and support the weight of its branches when it finally grows tall. God is doing something similar in your life. While you may not see the immediate changes, He's strengthening your foundation, preparing you to stand firm in the winds of life. The concept of divine timing also parallels the work of an artist. When an artist paints, the masterpiece often begins with layers of colors and strokes that are not immediately recognizable. It can look like chaos at first, but the artist knows the final picture. You too are like that work of art. God is adding layer upon layer of wisdom, strength, and understanding, even when it feels like nothing is happening. What you may see as delay is simply the refinement of a masterpiece. Even when you don't have the strength to pray, your spirit is still speaking to God. The Bible assures us in Romans 8:26 that the Spirit Himself intercedes for us with groanings too deep for words. Heaven hears you even when you can't find the words. Your spirit, in its deepest form, is constantly in communion with the divine, even when your mind is silent. Every unanswered prayer is not a sign of rejection, it is God's divine timing at work. Just like a musician waits for the right moment to strike a chord, heaven is waiting for the perfect moment to bring about your breakthrough. What seems like a delay is a deliberate moment of preparation, orchestrating everything in its divine place. I want to share a real-life story of an everyday person who experienced the power of trusting in God's timing. Jane, a single mother, worked tirelessly for years, praying for a breakthrough, for a better life for her children. For a long time, nothing seemed to change. She felt invisible, as though her prayers had fallen on deaf ears. Yet, in the stillness, she continued to trust. One day, a new job opportunity opened up, the kind she had dreamed of, but it came at the exact moment she was ready, not too early, not too late. She realized that the years of silence had prepared her to step into the job with confidence, grace, and an understanding that God had always been working behind the scenes, aligning everything perfectly. God's chosen ones. Your silence is not abandonment. It is God's strategic construction zone, a place where He is building something eternal, something stronger than you can imagine. Have you ever thought about how many seemingly unanswered prayers in your life are simply God's timing being perfected? Trust in the process. The waiting is not wasted. It's working, refining, and preparing you for what's to come. God's silence is never a sign of His absence, but a divine strategy. The construction zone of heaven is actively shaping your destiny, even when you cannot see it. Heaven has been whispering to you in the quiet. Don't mistake that silence for rejection. It is preparation, and it is working. Soon, the veil will be lifted, and you will see the beauty of what God has been working on all along. Your moment of revelation is near. Stand firm, God's chosen ones. Your time of divine revelation is upon you. Trust the process, for heaven is building something extraordinary in your life. Rest your heart, God's chosen ones, for you are not forgotten, and you are certainly not ignored. You may feel like you've been in a place of waiting, struggling through sleepless nights, filled with emotional and spiritual turmoil. But I am here to remind you today, you are interpreted by God. He understands the depths of your soul, your unspoken cries, and the weight you carry. Just as an artist sees the beauty hidden within a block of stone, God sees the divine purpose embedded in your heart, even when you can't yet see it yourself. Every tear you've shed, every sleepless night, and every moment of uncertainty has been noted and understood by heaven. The Spirit of God speaks clearly today. Before tomorrow morning, I will visit hearts that have been heavy. This night will not end the same way it began. This is not just a hopeful statement, it's a divine declaration. God's timing is perfect, and He is already at work in your life. You have endured a long night of uncertainty, emotionally, spiritually, and mentally. But you are about to step into a new day, one filled with light, clarity, and breakthrough. It's a night that has felt like an endless waiting room, but God is moving behind the scenes to transform your situation. He is interpreting your pain, turning it into purpose. The long night of your soul's struggle is drawing to a close, and the dawn of a new day is approaching faster than you think. Psalm 30:5 says, "Weeping may endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning." This verse is not just poetic, it's a spiritual law. Just as the darkest part of the night always gives way to the light of the dawn, your current trials will eventually be replaced by joy. The suffering you have endured in secret will be publicly acknowledged in the fullness of time. Every night must surrender to the morning, every storm to calm, and every trial has an expiration date. No matter how intense your storm may be, it will not last forever. The night may seem long, but morning is coming, bringing with it new hope, new opportunities, and new life. Have you ever experienced a storm that seemed relentless? The kind that tests your faith and perseverance, making you wonder if you'll ever see the light again. Think of the story of Noah and the great flood. The storm lasted 40 days and 40 nights, and it seemed like the waters would never recede. Yet, when the floodwaters finally began to subside, Noah and his family were not only saved, but were able to start anew on a land that was completely transformed. Just as the storm had a definite end, so too will your struggles. You may not see the end right now, but trust that God has already set the expiration date for your trials. For His anger is but for a moment, His favor is for a lifetime. Weeping may last for the night, but joy comes in the morning. Psalm 30:5. In nature, we see this spiritual truth played out daily. Consider the growth of a tree. It endures long, harsh winters where it seems to have no growth, its branches bare and its roots hidden beneath the earth. Yet, in spring, the tree blossoms. Its buds begin to bloom, and new life emerges from what appeared to be dead. Your season of winter, of emotional and spiritual barrenness, will soon give way to a season of flourishing. The quiet, unseen work God has been doing beneath the surface will soon bear fruit for all to see. The trials you've endured have been preparing you for the spring of your life. The concept of divine timing also parallels the work of an artist. When an artist paints, the masterpiece often begins with layers of colors and strokes that are not immediately recognizable. It can look like chaos at first, but the artist knows the final picture. You too are like that work of art. God is adding layer upon layer of wisdom, strength, and understanding, even when it feels like nothing is happening. What you may see as delay is simply the refinement of a masterpiece. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you a hope and a future. Jeremiah 29:7. Even when you don't have the strength to pray, your spirit is still speaking to God. The Bible assures us in Romans 8:26 that the Spirit Himself intercedes for us with groanings too deep for words. Heaven hears you even when you can't find the words. Your spirit, in its deepest form, is constantly in communion with the divine, even when your mind is silent. Every unanswered prayer is not a sign of rejection, it is God's divine timing at work. Just like a musician waits for the right moment to strike a chord, heaven is waiting for the perfect moment to bring about your breakthrough. What seems like a delay is a deliberate moment of preparation, orchestrating everything in its divine place. I want to share a real-life story of an everyday person who experienced the power of trusting in God's timing. Jane, a single mother, worked tirelessly for years, praying for a breakthrough, for a better life for her children. For a long time, nothing seemed to change. She felt invisible, as though her prayers had fallen on deaf ears. Yet, in the stillness, she continued to trust. One day, a new job opportunity opened up, the kind she had dreamed of. But it came at the exact moment she was ready, not too early, not too late. She realized that the years of silence had prepared her to step into the job with confidence, grace, and an understanding that God had always been working behind the scenes, aligning everything perfectly. God's chosen ones, your silence is not abandonment. It is God's strategic construction zone, a place where He is building something eternal, something stronger than you can imagine. Have you ever thought about how many seemingly unanswered prayers in your life are simply God's timing being perfected? Trust in the process. The waiting is not wasted, it's working, refining, and preparing you for what's to come. God's silence is never a sign of His absence, but a divine strategy. The construction zone of heaven is actively shaping your destiny, even when you cannot see it. Heaven has been whispering to you in the quiet. Don't mistake that silence for rejection. It is preparation, and it is working. Soon, the veil will be lifted, and you will see the beauty of what God has been working on all along. Your moment of revelation is near. Stand firm, God's chosen ones. Your time of divine revelation is upon you. Rise up, for the silent work God has been doing in you is about to burst forth in power and glory. The night has felt long, hasn't it? The waiting, the uncertainty, the emotional and spiritual exhaustion, it all seems like it's been never-ending. But let me reassure you, God's chosen ones, the night is long because the morning is drawing near. Just as a storm rages before the calm, your season of struggle is preparing you for a breakthrough that is closer than you can imagine. The warfare you've been experiencing hasn't been pointless. It has been a sign that the promise you've been holding on to is just within reach. Heaven has not forgotten you. It's actively announcing you. The challenges you've faced, the tests you've endured, are only setting the stage for the revelation of your divine destiny. Consider this. When the sun rises, it does not just bring light, it brings shift. It doesn't merely illuminate the day, it marks the beginning of something new. This is exactly what's happening in your life, chosen one. You are on the brink of new clarity, new opportunities, and new strength. The pain that once defined you, those scars from your battles, the struggles that seemed to wear you down will no longer define you. They will refine you. Just as fire refines gold, your trials have been purifying you, preparing you to shine with a brilliance that you couldn't have attained without going through the fire. Psalm 30:5 reminds us, "Weeping may endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning." This verse is not just comforting, it's a spiritual law. Every night, no matter how long, must give way to the light of morning. Every storm, no matter how fierce, must eventually give way to calm. You, chosen one, are standing on the edge of that dawn. The night that once seemed endless is almost over, and the joy that's coming will far exceed the pain you've endured. You may have felt as though your tears were weakening you, but God is using them to water your harvest. What once brought you sorrow is now positioning you for a season of growth. Your mourning will become movement, your sorrow transformed into strategy, and your pain will be the foundation of your purpose. In nature, we see this principle in action constantly. Think of a tree that sheds its leaves in the fall. It seems barren, stripped of life. Yet, underneath the surface, the roots are growing stronger, preparing for the new life that will come in the spring. You've gone through seasons of shedding, where it felt like everything was being taken from you. But just as the tree is being prepared for its new season, so too has God been strengthening your roots, ensuring that you will stand firm in the new season He's bringing. Yet, before you step into this new season, God is asking you to release what no longer serves the new you. To fully embrace what He has for you, there are burdens you must lay down tonight. The guilt, the regret, the bitterness, and the fear. These weights have held you down, but they will not be able to follow you into the new day. Just as an artist must cleanse their canvas before creating a masterpiece, God is asking you to cleanse your heart so that you can step into the fullness of your divine purpose. Release what was never meant to define you. Therefore, if anyone is in Christ, the new creation has come, the old has gone, the new is here. 2 Corinthians 5:17. Forgive those who have hurt you. Bless those who have left you. This doesn't mean excusing their actions, but rather freeing yourself from the chains of unforgiveness that bind you. The weight of yesterday is preventing you from stepping into the glorious future God has already prepared for you. Free yourself from what you've been holding on to, because the next chapter of your destiny will require a lighter heart. It's not just about moving on from the past, it's about preparing yourself for the new glory that awaits. The next season of your life will be defined by new strength and new clarity, but to embrace it fully, you must let go of what doesn't belong to you anymore. Every burden that you lay down is making room for God's divine glory to fill your heart. Have you ever noticed how a heavy backpack can slow you down? It's only when you take it off that you can walk with freedom, with speed, and with ease. This is the same way God is calling you to move into the next phase of your journey. Lay down the weight so that you can walk with freedom. The end of a difficult season isn't just a relief, it's a new beginning. It's a season of divine revelation, where the struggles you've faced will make sense, and the promises that seemed far off will begin to manifest before your eyes. Just as the Israelites crossed the Red Sea, leaving their past behind, you too are crossing over into the land of promise. The old has passed away, and the new is already on the horizon. As the sun rises on your new season, it will bring not just light but shift. Your life will shift, your perspective will shift, and your purpose will be clearer than ever before. This is not just the end of a hard season, it is the beginning of a season filled with God's abundant grace and divine favor. Rise up, God's chosen ones. The morning is coming, and with it, your breakthrough. You have endured the long night, and now the joy of the Lord will be your strength. Stand firm, for God is shifting you into your purpose, and the best is yet to come. The night has felt long, hasn't it? The waiting, the uncertainty, the emotional and spiritual exhaustion, it all seems like it's been never-ending. But hear this, chosen ones. The night is long because the morning is drawing near. Just like the darkest hour before dawn, your breakthrough is close. God has not abandoned you. He's actively aligning everything for your greater good. The struggles you've been through were never in vain. They were a divine preparation for something greater. And now, heaven is about to announce you. The light that will come will not just illuminate your path. It will reveal the purpose of your pain and why you had to endure what seemed like endless waiting. You may feel like you've been fighting in the dark for too long. But have you ever wondered why the night had to last so long? What if it was to make you stronger, to prepare you for the power of the dawn? The storms that felt like they were never ending were actually preparing you to stand firm, to embrace the light with new strength, clarity, and purpose. As the psalmist declares in Psalm 30:5, "Weeping may endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning." This is not just a poetic promise, it is a spiritual law. Every storm has an expiration date. Your trial has an end. The darkness you've been walking through is about to give way to your dawn of purpose and victory. And here's the truth: you've already been seen by heaven. God has witnessed every moment of your quiet obedience, your resilience, and your faith. Heaven saw you when no one else did. When you stayed kind despite the cruelty around you, when you forgave when it seemed like forgiveness was pointless, when you kept believing even when the path seemed unclear. Do you ever feel like you've given your best but no one notices? Have you ever wondered if anyone sees your struggles, your silent sacrifices, and the heartache you've faced alone? God has seen it all. And now, He is about to reward you openly for the work you've done quietly, behind the scenes. In Matthew 6:6, Jesus tells us, "But when you pray, go into your room, close the door, and pray to your Father, who is unseen. Then your Father, who sees what is done in secret, will reward you." This is not just about prayer, it's about God seeing what no one else sees. The kindness, the patience, the quiet strength that you've exhibited in the shadows has not gone unnoticed by heaven. You may have felt overlooked, but know that God is preparing to reward you openly, just as He promised. Do you believe that God sees you, even in your quietest moments? How would it feel if you knew that everything you've done in secret, every tear, every prayer, was being recorded by heaven for your good? Just like an artist's masterpiece takes time to come to life, God has been shaping you in hidden places, preparing you for the moment when the world will see His work in you. Your pain, your endurance, and your sacrifices are not wasted. You are being refined in the quiet, and soon the world will see the masterpiece God has been sculpting. Do you ever feel like the world is too focused on the surface and doesn't see the depth of what you're becoming? But what if, in this hidden season, God has been perfecting you for something greater than you can imagine? In nature, we often see how the roots of a tree grow deep before the branches reach high into the sky. The process is hidden, but vital for the tree's strength. Just like that tree, you've been growing deep in your faith, even when it wasn't visible to others. This unseen growth is what is preparing you to stand strong in the light when it comes. What roots has God been growing in your life during this season of waiting? And as the tree eventually reaches toward the sky, are you ready to rise into the fullness of what God has been preparing for you? Heaven is already working behind the scenes to bring you into your breakthrough. The quiet moments you thought were wasted are actually preparing you for divine alignment, for the breakthrough that will not only shift your life, but also reveal why the night had to last so long. You are closer than you think. Have you ever asked yourself how close you really are to your breakthrough? It may seem like the waiting is endless, but in reality, the dawn is closer than it has ever been. Now, as you stand on the edge of this new season, lay down everything that doesn't belong in the new you. The guilt, the regret, the bitterness, the fear, all the burdens that have weighed you down need to be laid at the feet of Jesus tonight. This is the moment where God is asking you to release what He never intended for you to carry. What is it that you've been holding on to that's preventing you from fully embracing the new season He has for you? What weight do you need to lay down in order to walk lighter into the glory that is ahead? In the world of physics, there's a phenomenon known as resonance, where two vibrating objects can match frequencies and create a powerful, harmonious effect. This is how God works. He is aligning the frequencies of your heart with His divine will, and when they resonate, a breakthrough will happen. Your release, your ability to let go of the burdens, is what will align your spirit to receive what He has been preparing for you. The next chapter of your destiny will require a lighter heart. Are you ready to lay down your burdens and step into the divine shift that God has been orchestrating? Rise up, God's chosen ones. The night is over. Heaven is about to reward you for the quiet acts of faith that have defined your journey. Your dawn is breaking, and with it comes the strength, clarity, and opportunity you have been waiting for. The new season is here. The pain that once defined you is now refining you. The tears that once weakened you will now water your harvest. Stand firm, for the morning is here. Your breakthrough is within reach, and it's time to walk into the glory of God's promise. Every hidden act of faithfulness, every prayer whispered in silence,